The story begins with Nathan Kane going through his usual morning ritual. He whips up some smoothies, gets dressed, and heads off to his boring job as an assistant bank manager. Every day feels the same for him, dull and unfulfilling, until someone catches his attention. That someone is Sherry, his gorgeous coworker and secret crush. She's fairly new, having joined the company just 4 months ago, but she's already made a big impact on Nathan. Later on, Nathan meets with one of his regular clients, Earl, an elderly man who's doing his best to keep his house and shop afloat after his wife passed away. Feeling for Earl's tough spot, Nathan quietly decides to postpone some paperwork until after the holidays, giving Earl a little breathing room. Feeling wiped out, Nathan heads out for coffee, but is taken by surprise when Sherry greets him brightly. The sudden greeting startles him and he ends up spilling the hot coffee on his hand. Sherry quickly apologizes, but Nathan waves it off, saying he's okay. Just then, his watch starts buzzing, and he excuses himself. Back in his office, Nathan tends to his burned hand, and once again Sherry pops her head in. He quickly hides his injury. Wanting to make up for the spill, she offers to take him out for lunch, but he politely declines, saying he's already brought his own. After a moment, though, he reconsiders and agrees to go with her. At the cafe, Nathan confidently orders a milkshake, while Sherry sticks with her namesake and orders a slice of cherry pie. Interested in Nathan's quiet demeanor, Sherry finally asks why he never leaves his office to hang out. Nathan just shrugs and admits he doesn't really know, that socializing isn't something he's used to. When the food arrives, Sherry takes a bite of her cherry pie and practically swoons. It's that good. She offers Nathan a taste, but he hesitates. He explains that he has a rare genetic disorder that affects his nervous system and prevents him from feeling pain. Because of this, he avoids eating solid food since one wrong bite could seriously injure him, even causing him to accidentally bite through his own tongue. Despite his worries, Sherry playfully persuades him to try a bite, and to his surprise, the experience is amazing. For the first time, he enjoys the pleasure of eating cherry pie. They keep talking, and Sherry learns that Nathan is free that evening, so she invites him to an art show she's putting on. Later, Nathan logs on for his usual online gaming session with Dixon, a longtime friend he's never met in person. He debates whether to go to Sherry's event, feeling uncertain and afraid he'll mess things up, but Dixon encourages him, reminding him that confidence matters more than appearance or being cool, and that chances like this don't come around often. Inspired by Dixon's words, Nathan decides to attend. At the art exhibit, Nathan is truly impressed by Sherry's work and makes sure she knows it. Afterwards, they head to a bar for drinks, where Sherry opens up about her past. She shares that her parents abandoned her as a baby. She was adopted at age 12 and later ran away when she realized most of her adoptive family didn't really accept her. Just as the night seems to be going well, a man at the bar notices Nathan and sarcastically calls him Novocaine, joking that it's a miracle he's still alive. Sherry looks to Nathan for answers and he sighs, explaining that the guy is an old middle school bully. The nickname Novocaine started back in high school after people discovered his condition. Because he couldn't feel pain, the bullies made a game out of beating him up every day to test how much he could take. Before Nathan can get lost in his memories, his watch suddenly buzzes. As he begins to excuse himself, Sherry asks about the constant alarm. He explains that he needs to set it every 3 hours, otherwise he might forget to use the restroom, and his bladder could literally burst. When Nathan comes back, his enthusiasm for the night takes a hit. He sees Sherry casually chatting and laughing with his old bully, but Sherry is quick on her feet. She tricks the bully into taking shots with Nathan. What he doesn't realize is that she swapped the liquor for ghost pepper hot sauce. Within moments, the bully is coughing uncontrollably, struggling to breathe, while Nathan and Sherry exchange a victorious grin. Later, Sherry walks back with Nathan to his apartment, and her eyes catch a tattoo on his hand. Intrigued, she urges him to take off his shirt so she can see more. As the shirt slips off, she's captivated by a detailed tattoo of an ancient castle tower etched on his body. Nathan shares that it tells a story, one that holds deep meaning for him. But before he can say anything else, Sherry slides onto his lap, and their chemistry sparks a passionate night between them. The next morning, Christmas Eve, Nathan wakes up feeling lighter than he ever has. But when he turns over, he realizes Sherry is already gone. Instead of her presence, he finds a sweet love note she left behind. For the first time in his life, Nathan feels genuine happiness. His joy is so powerful that it follows him from his apartment all the way to work, shining through everything he does. Motivated to finally express his feelings, Nathan plans to find Sherry during lunch. Yet, just as he's about to leave, chaos erupts. 3 armed robbers burst into the bank, dressed as Santa Claus. They order everyone down to the floor, while their leader Simon demands the vault password from the bank manager. When the manager refuses, Simon, realizing he's been noticed, mercilessly shoots him on the spot. The robbers then turn their violent attention to Nathan, the assistant manager. They beat him relentlessly, demanding the vault code, but Nathan refuses to give in. Just as they're ready to finish him off, Sherry steps forward, begging them to stop. Her intervention only enrages them more, and they strike her across the face. As they threaten to kill her, Nathan, terrified for her safety, finally relents and hands over the vault code. With the cash secured, the robbers prepare to flee, but the police arrive much sooner than they expected. In panic, they grab Sherry as a hostage, forcing the officers to drop their weapons. A fierce shootout ensues, leaving all the officers dead. The robbers shove Sherry into their getaway car and speed off into the night. Nathan watches helplessly but refuses to let them get away with her. Spotting an abandoned police cruiser nearby, he rushes toward it. Just before he can get in, a wounded officer calls out for help. Without hesitation, Nathan uses his belt to stem the bleeding. Then, taking the officer's gun and vehicle, he tears out onto the road, determined to catch the robbers and rescue Sherry. The robbers think they're being pursued by police and begin to panic. Desperate to avoid capture, they decide to split up. Nathan locks onto one of them and chases hard until the getaway car screeches to a halt at a roadblock. The robber jumps out and runs on foot. Nathan checks the car, hoping to find Sherry, only to find the stolen cash piled up inside. With his gun drawn, Nathan corners the escaping robber, who goes by Ben's name. Ben doesn't want to fight. He just wants to know where Sherry is. But the moment Ben figures out Nathan isn't a cop, he shoves him aside and bolts. Nathan won't back down and gives chase, trailing him all the way into a nearby kitchen where the situation escalates into a fierce fight. Ben clearly has the advantage. Nathan's never been in a real fight before, but Nathan holds one secret edge: he can't feel pain. As Ben nearly gains the upper hand, Nathan desperately grabs a bag of flour and flings it into his attacker's face, momentarily blinding him. Taking advantage of the distraction, Nathan plunges his hand right into a pot of boiling oil to grab his gun, without showing a single wince. Before Ben can gather himself, Nathan fires a shot straight into his neck, ending the fight decisively. With Ben lying lifeless, Nathan quickly searches his phone but finds nothing helpful. Thinking on his feet, he snaps a photo of Ben's tattoo and sends it to his online friend Dixon, asking him to track down the studio where it was done. Meanwhile, detectives Mincy and Culrain arrive at the scene. Taking in the facts, Nathan opening the vault for the robbers and stealing a police car to chase them, they start to suspect he may be involved in the crime. Mincy calls Nathan and orders him to turn himself in, but Nathan refuses, insisting he's the only one who can rescue Sherry before it's too late. Although frustrated, Mincy respects his resolve and doesn't press further. Nathan then stops by his client Earl's shop, needing help with a bullet wound in his arm. Earl is shocked by Nathan's complete lack of pain, but Nathan shrugs it off, handing over a thick stack of stolen cash, enough to help Earl save his home. Meanwhile, the remaining robbers, Simon and Andre, lay low inside an abandoned store. Andre grows restless. His brother Ben hasn't returned yet, and he was the one carrying the money. But the situation takes an unexpected turn. Sherry is revealed to be Simon's sister and has been involved in the heist all along, yet she never agreed to murder, and now she's furious. She and Simon argue fiercely over him breaking their deal by killing the bank manager, a man Sherry actually cared about. Back on the trail, Nathan tracks down the tattoo shop where Ben got his ink. Posing as a client, he approaches the owner, Zeno, pretending he wants a tattoo. Casually, he starts asking questions about Ben, his full name and details, but Zeno quickly grows suspicious. Sensing trouble, Zeno reaches for a knife, but before he can attack, Nathan pulls out his gun and commands him to drop it. Zeno refuses to back down and lunges at Nathan, knocking him into a nearby mirror. Realizing he needs to escalate, Nathan does something reckless. He slams his fists into the broken glass, slicing his knuckles and turning his hands into weapons. With blood dripping down his fingers, he uses the sharp shards to brutally beat Zeno, gouging out one of his eyes. Broken and battered, Zeno finally cracks and coughs up Ben's home address. Nathan quickly jots down the location on his hand and heads there, only to find himself stepping into a perilous house rigged with deadly traps. Nathan locates the robber's hideout, but just as he's about to act, he gets caught once more. Desperate, he calls Dixon for backup. At first, Dixon refuses, wanting nothing to do with Nathan's troubles. But when Nathan reminds him he's his only true friend, Dixon hesitates, then agrees to help, promising to arrive in 10 minutes. Meanwhile, Andre, Ben's brother, returns home searching for him. Spotting Nathan inside, he slams down on him, demanding to know his purpose. Thinking quickly, Nathan lies, claiming he's another thief. Before Andre can press further, Simon calls with grim news. Ben has been killed by a man in a suit. Andre pieces the clues together fast. Nathan is the one responsible. Fueled by rage, Andre moves to kill Nathan, but Nathan stays calm, knowing how to play the situation. Instead of begging for mercy, he quietly asks Andre to make it quick. Predictably, Andre does the opposite, deciding to make Nathan suffer. But Nathan, who can't feel pain, knows this will buy vital time for Dixon to arrive. As Andre starts the brutal torture, Nathan fakes pained screams to keep up appearances, holding on for rescue. Just as Andre is about to gouge out Nathan's eyes, Dixon bursts through the door and knocks him out cold. Without wasting a second, Nathan sprints toward the last robber's hideout, desperate to find and save Sherry. But what he discovers shakes him deeply. Sherry wasn't some innocent caught in the mess. She's Simon's sister and has been involved in the heist from the very beginning. The whole relationship, every moment he thought they shared, that was all a setup. They needed him to care about Sherry enough so that when the moment came, he would hand over the vault code without hesitation. Before Nathan can fully grasp the extent of this betrayal, Simon strikes while he's stunned, knocking him to the floor. With a cruel smirk, Simon reaches for a control panel and presses a button. Above, a car suspended from the ceiling suddenly drops, its tires aimed straight toward Nathan's head, set to crush him. But before the deadly trap can take effect, Sherry steps in, begging Simon to stop. She pleads with him to take the money and run while she stays behind. Simon refuses, enraged by her defiance, and points his gun at her. Just as he pulls the trigger, a gunshot echoes through the room. Police snipers take Simon down from behind. Sherry is immediately arrested, while Nathan is rushed into an ambulance. But just when it seems like the ordeal is over, Simon, barely alive, suddenly wakes up. Summoning the last bit of energy he has, he guns down both detectives, kills the ambulance driver, and hijacks the vehicle. Despite her injuries, Detective Mincy refuses to give up. As she starts to lose blood, Sherry helps keep her stable and grabs the detective's car keys. Determined to give chase, Mincy, stubborn and determined to see it through, forces herself to keep going. Inside the stolen ambulance, Nathan regains consciousness. Still handcuffed, he does the unthinkable. He deliberately breaks his own fingers to slip free. With no time to spare, he grabs a defibrillator and smashes it against Simon's skull, electrocuting him. The shock sends the ambulance careening off the road and crashing violently. Both Nathan and Simon stumble out of the wreckage, battered but alive. What follows is a brutal fight. Simon, stronger and more experienced, manages to snap Nathan's arm. Just as he's about to deliver a fatal blow, Sherry arrives alongside Mincy. Too injured to fight, Mincy hands Sherry her gun, one last chance to stop the man who killed her partner. But Simon is relentless. He turns on Sherry, wrapping his hands around her throat, squeezing tightly to choke the life out of her. Watching her fade, something inside Nathan breaks. He grabs a syringe of adrenaline and injects himself, sending a rush of raw energy through his veins. With one final desperate move, he drives his own broken bones through Simon's throat, ending him for good. As medics rush in, Nathan finally loses consciousness. Days later, he wakes up in a hospital bed. Despite being charged with multiple crimes, including murder and grand theft auto, he's sentenced to only 5 months of house arrest thanks to the fact that he saved a police officer's life. 1 year later, life has calmed down. Nathan gets ready for a date, not with someone new, but with Sherry. Though she's still behind bars, she's set to be released in 8 months. And despite everything that's happened, he's willing to wait for her.